Why evolution is true, a critique. This series of videos that I'm doing now is not a critique of Dr. Jerry Coyne's book, Why Evolution is True. Rather, it's a critique of a talk he gave, apparently based on his book. And I'll try to put a link to the video of the talk in the sidebar. First of all, I'd like to, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Coyne, C-O-Y-N-E. If not, I hope you will forgive me. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Coyne for clearly explaining and popularizing basic mainstream science. That's always a good thing. Other aspects of his talk, though, I am less thrilled with. Before getting to that, though, I must make a distinction. That distinction is between evolution on the one hand and what I'm going to call revolution on the other hand. So evolution versus revolution. Evolution is a scientific theory, the overarching paradigm of biology. Revolution, on the other hand, is evolution plus, or what some may call evolution as religion. If you don't care to think of this latter sort of evolution as a religion per se, no matter. The important fact here is that revolution goes beyond mere science and goes into the realm of metaphysics. So let's look at both evolution and revolution more closely before getting down to the criticism of the talk. So one way to define evolution would be to quote the definition that Coyne gives. So this is apparently how he defines evolution in the talk Why Evolution is True. So this is a direct quotation, and it's not an argument. There's going to be numbered points. The numbered points are summary statements, not premises of an argument. Quote, what is the, quote, theory, unquote, of evolution? 1. Evolution happens. Then in parentheses, populations change over time. 2. Evolution usually happens gradually. Then in parentheses, populations change over hundreds to millions of years. 3. Speciation occurs. One species splits into two or more species. 4. All species share common ancestry. Then in parentheses, as a result of splitting of lineages from one ancestral life form. 5. Much of the evolutionary change was caused by natural selection, which is the sole process of producing adaptation. And then in parentheses, appearance of design. So evolution happens, usually happens, unquote. So evolution happens, usually happens gradually. Speciation occurs. All species share common ancestry. Much evolutionary change was caused by natural selection, which is the sole process of producing adaptation. And the result is what looks like design. Alright, so the first 4 summary points are, I suppose, quite good. But I would take issue with the 5th point, and I'll have more to say about this point in a moment. For now, note the very end of the statement, what was in the parentheses, the appearance of design. What Dr. Coyne is implying here, it seems, is that people used to believe in God as the designer of biological life. It was hard to look at nature and deny God, but now we know, thinks Coyne, that the natural selection has produced an illusion of intelligent design. So this interpretation of that expression, the appearance of design, is based on some other things that Coyne says throughout the talk. But you see what he's doing here? He's tying a theory of science to his atheistic worldview, if I'm interpreting him correctly. Isn't science supposed to be a non-overlapping magisteria and kept separate from religious or metaphysical questions? Whether you agree with Noma or not, it is clear that Coyne is not talking here about just science. And that is a real problem. A scientific definition of a scientific concept should not include unscientific concepts like the existence or non-existence of God. The existence or non-existence of God is not a scientific question per se, and an evolutionary biologist, qua-evolutionary biologist, has nothing to say about God whatever. So it could be that there is a God and that he used natural selection to design biological organisms in an indirect, though wholly intelligent way. This possibility should not be defined by fiat out of the realm of possibility. At least a scientist qua scientist giving a lecture on the scientific evidence for evolution has no right to include religiously charged concepts in his definition. Now, Jerry Coyne and Richard Dawkins and many other people, they believe in evolution, of course, and they tie evolution, it's intimately tied in their thinking, apparently, to an atheistic worldview, a total view of the world as within the perspective of atheism. Their view of the world is that evolution explains away God. It was hard to see the appearance of design in the world around us and deny that there was a God until, that is, their savior, Charles Darwin, came along. Now we are more enlightened, or they are more enlightened, and so quote, have no need of that hypothesis, unquote. It is this latter view of evolution, plus all the other metaphysical baggage, that I wish to denote by the term revolution, with an R. Revolution is not science, but it often masquerades as just evolution or just science. But again, it's something much more than just science or just evolution. It is important to distinguish between evolution and revolution, because many people, including Coyne in this talk, will speak about evolution out of one side of their mouth and revolution out of the other, as if they were one and the same thing. Classic equivocation or bait and switch. And I'm a former telemarketer, so I recognize bait and switch when I see it. Now, evolution and revolution are totally different animals and must never be conflated. By the way, what hardcore anti-evolution people are against, it seems to me, is really revolution. They may not express their reservation in this terminology, and I may be oversimplifying a bit, but only a tiny bit. It is revolution, not evolution, that they have a problem with. I will give a revised version of point 5, but that will have to wait until the next video, because I'm all out of time. Shalom.